Jesus is an almighty God himself, according to the Bible.
All right, so I kind of want to take a little bit of a different angle. I want to do this in a way that relates to you and your theology. The Quran has names and titles of Allah that you would agree only apply to him. No creature, no angel, no prophet can claim these titles, or else it would be what is called shirk, or associating a partner with him. Just quickly, you agree with that?
That is incorrect.
It's incorrect?
It's incorrect.
So
I can't hear the video.
Do you want to get into Islamic Aqidah? Because that's off the prompt.
No, it's not. It's tying into the point, which is
okay.
what
So
the
do you
point
want me
I'm
to
making.
explain that point then? Because you're incorrect on it.
So you're saying creatures can actually share in the names and titles of Allah?
Can I respond?
Please, it's a yes or no, because
I'm not going to yes or no. If you're going to ask a question, I'm going to respond.
It sounds like a line of logic that he's trying to run by. So if with your measuring tools, maybe we can put them away.
Jesus is an almighty God himself, according to the Bible.
All right, so I kind of want to take a little bit of a different angle.
OBS had a update, and I guess they muted all of my settings. That should be good now. You should be able to hear me now. Let me turn this up a little bit. There we go. There. Okay, so what I was, that's maybe a little too loud. Let me turn it down a bit. All right, so what I was saying is we're going to be reviewing this GodLogic Uthman debate. I want to get into the state of I'll get up perfect state of apologetics right now, and I'm not too fond of what I'm seeing. It's definitely starting to look like a business with some of these guys. Definitely starting to look like a business with some of these guys. GodLogic, fan of the guy. He managed to raise like 80 grand a couple months ago or something like that over like potential legal fees or getting sued over like some YouTube strike. Had another one, Inspiring Philosophy, raised like $200-something thousand, saying he got doxxed by some Muslims and now he has to move to a gated community and all that. And it's, come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, they got the little groups here. Their little Avengers squad. I'm starting to see the same faces around them. They're all, selling tickets to debates and things like that. And I just don't like where it's heading. Don't like where it's heading. And I feel like these Christian apologists and the Muslim apologists are kind of like, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I feel like they're behind the scenes, like they're all cool with each other, and it's like wrestling. They're just organizing these little debates and selling tickets so they make some money. There's a reason why they all avoid Christian Prince or a lot of the Arab speakers. They avoid them, and it just seems to be the same like 3 or 4 guys that are just like, are these the only ones? Sam Shamoon is completely he's just completely off the target because they didn't bring him along with all the money making. And he says, GodLogic was out there in Vegas and didn't come and say hi to him and all that. But really, it's because these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of YouTube and donations. And he's not. So now, Avery, GodLogic, he's kind of feeling the cost of fame. He's been doxxed, but obviously, he's not worried about it. Pictures of his wife when she was younger, and not so admiring poses and bikini pics and all that. Now that's splattered all over the internet. So he's definitely catching some heat for what he's doing, which is why I'm not so critical of him. And all of this didn't really come until he made all that money. As soon as he hit the GoFundMe, all of, then God kind of checked him a little bit. We'll see what happens with inspiring philosophy, because $200,000 because you're talking about you scared. It's like, bro, buy a gun. This is America. What are you doing, dude? If you're in California, that's all the, you know how much easier it is to get your CCW when you can like
Oh, yeah.
prove that you're getting, like, your life is being threatened and people are threatening your family and like your address is getting leaked online. It's like, if something like that were to happen to me, I'm arming up.
Well, not just that, but I mean, look at this incident that happened at the In-N-Out in Idaho.
Yeah.
Not even that, dude. I mean, today, so I went to church today, and that was one of my thoughts because, In-N-Out's been on my mind of, I don't, so I have a CCW, and I thought to myself in church, if something happens, what do I do? Normally, I would have my pistol with me to defend myself and anyone else around. But for that second, I went, "What do I do?" I had an uneasy feeling, but at the same time, then I went, "You know what? It's all part of God's plan. If that's the way I go, that's the way I go. Am I going to be happy about it? Probably not. But at the same time, I got to accept it."
Yeah, exactly. So California legal firearms, I definitely. Oh yeah. Yeah. Same here. No, of course, all my weapons are 100% legal and registered and such. Anywho, yeah, but that's what you.
Are you
That's
are you
what.
streaming on YouTube so I can read the comments?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. We're on YouTube. But yeah, matter of fact, should I go live on Kick? I haven't been on Kick in a long time. Yeah, we'll see. We did get the guy from Tunisia on Kick, but anyway, yeah. So I feel like these little bouts are set up. They focus on one issue really, and it's this whole the Islamic dilemma. And I think that way it still gives the Muslims a little bit of life to keep the battles going. Whereas if they were to go to somebody like Christian Prince, it's just like it's a wrap. Because they can play the Arabic games and on all of this and that. So, GodLogic, ease up on the merch, ease up on commercializing. You still get the money off of YouTube. You don't need to do GoFundMes, especially now that you got eyes all on you. You made like almost $100,000, so please don't pop out with like Louis Vuitton shoes and all this other stuff.
Driving a Range Rover.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just an inspiring philosophy, dude. I'm not trying to hate on you, bro. I mean, who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm sure you probably won't even see this video, but dude, let me look into the camera on this one, bro. I'm scared. Help me on a down payment to a house in a gated community. Really, dude? 200 and like 30 grand, bro. Why not just say God wants me to have the private jet? God wants me to have the Ferrari. Like, come on, man. Like, it's really making us look bad. So hopefully, well, this is why, like I said, we're going to get into this video. This is why I keep going to Christian Prince, because Christian Prince, I think, is in Ukraine right now. I think I think he traveled to Ukraine, like in the war zone, and doing his thing, teaching people how to refute Islam. Like, that's what I'm talking about. wrote a couple of books, makes a little money off his books. Yeah, IP, I feel bad. His family's getting doxxed, but man, that's a big stretch. Yeah. Christian, oh yeah, well, yo. Exactly, Mike. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, that's why I'm like, dude, get you some guns and be like, yo, bring it. I dare you. I dare you. Any Abdul shows up on my door, I'm sending some shots downrange. Like, what are we talking about here? This isn't a game. You want to threaten my? And then with GodLogic, there's all his I guess his wife used to be like a video vixen or something, but so they're all releasing her as if Christians are gonna feel some kind of way about her because of her past. Like, no, are you kidding me? This girl's bringing people to Christ. Like, if anything, that's an even greater testimony. These Muslims don't get it. Like, dude actually has funny content, so just use that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you make money off YouTube already. I think he saw how much money GodLogic made off of the YouTube lawsuit, and he's like, "Oh, we got it like that? Oh, I was doxxed. They threatened my family." And it was probably some like 13-year-old kid. It's not that hard to dox people. It really isn't. It's not that hard to find someone's address. Really isn't. With most people, you can just type in their name, and somehow, some way, you'll get there. So, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. But let's get into this. You got anything to add to that, Brian? I know you probably haven't been following these guys as much as I or Mikey, but just how do you feel about that, man? $228,000 because he said that his address was leaked, and they're threatening his wife and kids.
GodLogic's addressing the Muslim guy.
I believe GodLogic got doxxed too, but he debated this Muslim guy, destroyed him. But it was on the Muslim guy's channel. But now the Muslim guy told GodLogic, and this was all on all live, like, yes, you can show this video. So when he did, he copyright striked him, and then I think tried to sue him or something like that, maybe. So he did a GoFundMe for his legal fees and raised a little over $80,000, I think. But now everybody's kind of expecting, okay, well, show us the lawyer you paid, or show us the court, show us something. But I know the wheels of justice turn slow in this country, as we all know. I did see that Abduls were blasting his address around and trying to call for violence, but then just hire a security guard and alert the police and FBI, have a firearm on you, and just be ready. Exactly.
Well, and the Bible says that, no matter what it is, we're always going to face some sort of attack on us, whether it be spiritual or somebody else. We're targeted, and unfortunately, he's been targeted.
Yep. Security is a lot cheaper than $200K for a house. Exactly. You just stood. You're a white guy. He sounds like he doesn't sound like he lives in LA. But he could, but you're not Middle Eastern, you're not Arab. You're a white guy. I'm sure GodLogic is one of the few black guys you hang out with, no disrespect. You just don't seem like you come from an area that's filled with black people. You may, IP, you may. But you just, there's you're just not giving me that Travis Kelce vibe. So obviously, bro, you'll be able to see an Abdul coming from a mile away. Just be ready. Tell the cops, like you said, tell the FBI. They can actually go and find these guys and have a nice conversation with them. Because I'm sure the people doxing you are American. So they're not going to do anything, but just arm up, dude. Arm up and, bro, be ready to fight for your family. Like, come on, man. No weapon formed against me. Okay.
I want to do this in a way that relates to you and your...
So, yeah, Sheikh Uthman on the left. Let me, just so you can... All right, Sheikh Uthman Sarah Bobera, which is, I guess, the new. I guess they're running a cycle with her now. They had that other guy where he debated the doctor, Dr. Dr. Nasser, whatever it was, and it was him. They had a couple of debates with him. So I guess she's the new, you know. Yeah, it's a business, guys. It's a business, but there's still good information in it. So let's see here. And there's Avery, GodLogic.
Theology. The Quran has names
And apparently this chick has been like, I don't know. She gets a little emotional. She gets herself involved instead of just being like the invisible moderator. And
she's supposed to be the mediator of the whole thing. The partial to both sides.
Right. Sarah Bobera, how do bananas fly? Yeah. So you'll figure that out. But
titles of Allah
can you hear it? Okay,
that
Brian?
you would agree only apply to him. No creature, no angel, no prophet can claim these titles or else it would be what is called shirk or associating a partner with him. Just quickly, you agree with that?
That is incorrect.
It's incorrect?
It's incorrect.
So just because
do you want to get into Islamic Aqidah? Because that's off the prompt.
No, it's not. It's tying into the point, which is
okay.
What
So
the
do you
point
want me
I'm
to
making.
explain that point then? Because you're incorrect on it.
So you're saying creatures can actually share in the names and titles of Allah?
Can I respond?
No,
Please, it's a yes or no. Because
I'm not going to yes or no. If you're going to ask a question, I'm going to respond.
It sounds like a line of logic that he's trying to run by. So if you're asking for a yes or no, you can do a yes and I have a clarifier.
Exactly.
And then if you want to get through your thought on the line of logic and then offer the clarifier.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a clarifier, which is that there are certain sifat that are only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Ar-Rahman, that cannot be used for any of the creation. But there are sifat like Rahim, which can be used for creation. Allah is Wudud, He is loving. That doesn't mean that the creation are not loving. Of course, the characters of Allah are unique to Him, but there are some that the humanity does share in as well. Allah is living. We are all living, but the way Allah is living is unique to Him. So your base point was incorrect, and I hope that clarification helps.
It's not, because I didn't ask about whether or not we share in His attributes like, oh, I'm merciful, Allah's merciful, so yeah, we're both merciful. I didn't ask that. So for example, can someone be called Al-Rahim?
Again, for Rahim, if you put the particle, can I speak?
I didn't know.
Looks like you had. Okay, I got you. I got you. So you seem like you're about to speak. So, like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman. That is unique to Him. Nobody can be called, right? But even the indefinite Al can be used with certain characteristics. For example, Al-Wudud, the most loving. But the way that it applies to Allah is unique to Him. But as you earlier said, that those are only for Him, that is incorrect. Some are shared, not just that they are merciful, very merciful, but to the level of Rahman, no.
That's not true.
So I'm not asking if we can be merciful similar to how Allah is. He's just more merciful than us. I'm asking about His specific titles.
Right. So if you can catch what the Muslim is trying to do here, Avery is asking him, can somebody like attribute one of Allah's names to himself? Like, can someone call themselves the most loving, the most, powerful, blah, blah, blah? I know the close-ups on the guys in the back is hilarious. Obviously you can't, but he is trying to avoid officially saying that. So he's dodging it by saying, well, it's like I'm loving and Allah's loving, but it's a bunch of double speak. Because if he concedes that point, once again, we're easily down a path of debunking this religion. So watch how he tries to avoid it.
So he's called Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Wudud, meaning the most loving. Can any creature share these titles? I'm not saying, oh, Allah's loving, I'm also loving. Can I be called the most loving? Can I be called the most merciful, the living one, which is one of His names? Can I be called any of these things? Can any prophet claim these things? Any angel?
There's your point. Okay. Again, certain ones, no. And that's why you have to understand the nuance here, because you don't understand Aqidah, right? Certain ones, no. Certain ones, yes. You can be the loving. Al-Wudud.
The most loving?
The most loving. Of course. Amongst,
Give my red book.
Go for it. Yeah. Amongst, for example, if I said these are all my kids, but this one, he's Al-Wudud. He is the most loving of them, right? That can be in that context.
Notice.
Let me. There you go. Right? Now, the clarification here is yes, even
the way Muslims and liberals debate is so frustrating to listen to, constantly absorbing a ton of time, double speaking, and can I talk? Dude, exactly. Exactly. And it's just like, I have to interrupt you because you're going so far down the path of wrong. I can't even, my brain can't handle letting you finish. Like this has to
Well,
stop.
and here's the thing: he's basically asking, did Allah ever come down as human form? Which is no. We know that that's not true.
Well,
The only person to ever come down as God was Jesus.
yeah, I think that's ultimately the point that he's trying to get to. Like, can anyone else call themselves these names? And the answer
You
is
can't call yourself a
no,
living
but
being that
no,
loved
no.
each other or loved human creation.
No, what I think he's going to get to is like Jesus holds some of these titles. So if these things can only be attributed to God and God alone, that would mean that Jesus is God as well, because you can use that for him. So that's why we'll see. But I think that's the angle he's trying to take. But let's let's see. But I think that's why he's trying to say, trying to double speak it so much, trying to find a way for it to be yes and the no.
Can be used with certain things of the creation, but Allah is unique. Laysa
But you are
kamithlihi
right,
shay.
Brian. It is all
That is his
attributed to
level
Jesus.
is unique to him. But answer your question, yes. Even the infinite of al can be used.
Okay, so what you just did is you qualified. You said the most loving of my children.
The Undertaker.
I didn't ask that. I'm not asking, can someone use these terms in qualification of certain things? I mean, in general, outright absolute. Can someone claim themselves to be, in general, the most loving al-wadud? Yes or no?
Once again, I'm gonna.
Yes or no, please?
No, I'm sorry.
It's yes,
answer
no, and
I would say yes and or no
Yes,
and yes
exactly.
Got
but.
it? But
Exactly.
please do not interrupt.
I
Let
won't.
me
Just
speak.
answer
Okay.
straight away,
Well,
please.
So-
again, that's why he's trying to run the line of logic, because
I
that's
know, but,
where we're running into.
but
that's
again,
how he's trying to get to his point.
I get that.
So yes
but your
and
point-
or no and?
Yes, and so when we're talking about, for example, somebody being very loving, are you calling me mushrik here?
Yeah, you're a
Nobody
disbeliever.
gave you that authority. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm a
You're
sheikh,
not.
bro.
You're not.
What does that say? This is not shirk. The Quran calls the Egyptian governor in chapter 12 Al-Aziz. Muhammad said to marry Al-Wadud.
Not a Muslim. You're not a sheikh.
I'm a
You don't know
sheikh.
anything about Islam.
I'm a sheikh. You
You're
didn't
not
know?
a sheikh.
Out
You're
of the
not a
meta,
sheikh.
let's get back to it.
The real fact. This will be the default answer. Jesus' titles come from corrupted scriptures, Habibi. Yeah. This is shirk. The most loving, unqualified is a title that cannot be applied to creatures. The most loving wife is a qualified statement, not unqualified.
Thank you.
Very true.
So please refrain from calling me a mushrik, because that's an
What?
insult.
That's
Yes.
that's
an
disbelief.
insult. Yeah,
How's that an insult?
That is definitely
I don't know
an
what that
insult.
word
Mushrik just means he's a
so-
disbeliever. That's all.
Okay.
He just called me a disbeliever in Islam. That is
Yes.
definitely an insult.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We don't need your takfir. Keep it to yourself. You don't know the wabit of the
I do. You're not a Muslim anymore.
don't-
You just-
Let's get back to the point so that we don't escalate this any further.
He said he knows the dawabit of takfir. What are they?
You just committed shirk.
What are they?
You committed
What are
shirk.
dawabit of takfir?
You can't commit shirk.
What
and be a
is
Muslim.
that? You do not know. You are ignorant
Can you
of
be
the
a Muslim and
dawabit.
commit
We
shirk?
are caught you right now.
Can you be a Muslim and commit
Yes.
shirk?
Yes, you can. You can. Let me sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Somebody who does shirk. بعذر
I hear that
الجهل.
right?
What about that?
This is why I didn't want to do this. For
عذر
them.
Did I hear
الجهل.
that
Go ahead.
correctly?
That.
This is why I didn't want to do this. For
عذر
them.
الشرك. بعذر
Wind it
down.
back.
Sit down. Somebody. You do not know. You are ignorant
Can you
of
be
the
a Muslim and
dawabit.
commit
We
shirk?
are caught you right now.
Can you be a Muslim and commit
Yes.
shirk?
Yes, you can. You can. Let me sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Somebody who does shirk. بعذر الجهل. What about that?
This is why I didn't want to do this. For
عذر
them.
الجهل. Go ahead. What is it?
No,
What is عذر الجهل?
It's okay, man.
What's عذر الجهل?
You can be a
You see-
Muslim
you see the ignorant?
and commit shirk. You can
Somebody-
associate partners with Allah. Okay,
somebody
you good.
could
Whenever
do
the two
shirk.
of you are done with your measuring tools, maybe we can put them away. I
I'm done.
guarantee you
I'm ready to hear his
there's-
answer.
It's not going to
Ignorance.
get us anywhere.
Okay.
We have a prompt. We have a debate. I'd love to get back
He's
to
already
it.
gone off the prompt. But
No, I didn't.
you
I'm right
did.
here. You're
Okay,
struggling
now,
with
once again,
this.
I'm not struggling at all.
Okay.
Your ignorance, when you said you're a sheikh and you said I'm doing shirk and I'm a mushrik, not understanding what dawabit takfir even is. You don't even know what the word means. If a Muslim does shirk but he's ignorant of it, he's forced by it, there are many dawabit that he would still remain a Muslim. These are called dawabit takfir, which
he's
you are
forced?
ignorant
What if you do it by
of.
your own free
You
will?
are ignorant of dawabit takfir. That's why I said even if a Muslim does shirk, we don't say he's kafir, we don't say he's mushrik until those safeguards are put into place, which you are absolutely jahil of. So you do not know, you're not a sheikh, you do not know Islam. Now,
okay, let me respond to that. Can I respond to that?
I would rather get out of the personal insults preferably and get back.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, so can you kind of explain what he's talking about with this sheikh? Because I have no idea.
Shirk is disbelief. It's like you can't, like in Islam, there's certain things you can't do, and if you do it, then you're like out of Islam. So it's like if you attribute like any of those names to like anything else or to like a creature, that's like a big sin, and it's like you're out, 3 strikes. So it's like ultimate sin with them kind of deal, disbelief. So what he was asking him is, can you do these, like, can you commit these things of disbelief and still be a Muslim? The answer is no. But he was like, yeah. And it's like, dude.
Well, no, that completely contradicts itself. That's just like saying in the Bible, declaring Jesus isn't Lord. Well, guess what? When you get to the gates of heaven, you are going to be denied entry.
It's like saying Jesus isn't the Son of God, but saying you're a Christian, or Jesus never existed.
Which, by the way, is the only sin that the Bible says that will not get you into heaven. As soon as you blaspheme Jesus, you're done.
So that's what all of that, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. That's what all that was.
It's all religious. This is all religious.
Okay, but it was all based off of some kind of insult that interrupted when he was trying to answer the yes and.
It was just
okay, so I would love to get back to the original prompt if you gentlemen don't mind, because this personal insult stuff can go off screen somewhere else.
Can I reiterate then?
The question? Do you need the question right?
I already answered it, so I don't know why we're redoing it over and over again.
Well, you were saying yes and then he said something.
So I can finish with yes and.
No, bro.
And then you were on an insult.
Let me reiterate the point.
Re-ask the question. It had to do with the
with the titles of Allah.
You see what I'm saying? Now we're arguing with the moderator. You know what I mean? It's like, lady.
And he's saying, so this is why I said this. This isn't a personal insult. If you, according to Islam, attribute the names and attributes and titles of Allah to any of his creatures, then you have committed shirk, you have associated a partner with him, and you are no longer a Muslim. Now, if what you just said is, from your Quran.
Which ayah?
We'll do this in a second.
No.
We can talk after. Can I speak? Can I speak?
Hold on. Let me
speak, please. Let me finish.
To the point of you asked a very specific question before we went off guards.
Yes, I'm trying to get there. So, for example, Allah is called the first and the last. Can anybody be identified as the first and the last unqualified? I'm not saying putting it in a context of, I'm the first and last of my parents. No, in a general absolute sense, when they say I am the first and the last, would that be shirk? Would that be associating partner? Can anyone claim to do this, be this, and it not be blasphemy? Yes or no? And then explain.
That's
again, so he made a point earlier, and then he went to a yes or no.
So he's jumping off. No, he's asking the question.
First thing.
Hold on. He qualified to. There was a condition built into asking the question. I'll allow it. The question is a yes or no, right? So you can offer a qualifier for it, but he asked the question right there at the tail end. That's what I'm looking for.
Al-awwal wal-akhir in the Arabic context, being used without any qualification can only be used for Allah. Now, having said that, I will address. First thing, you said the Quran says that, and you have not given us a verse. You're lying on the Quran.
I'll give you
Secondly,
go ahead. What is it? It's in chapter 4 where Allah says that He will not forgive shirk. And if you don't forgive shirk, and if He doesn't forgive shirk, you're not a Muslim.
You see how he jumped from it.
Forgive you.
Earlier he said, now this is where he's
isn't even on the prompt anymore.
You guys are giving me a run for my money.
Okay. Now earlier he said,
now you're not on the prompt anymore.
If you use any of the names of Allah, like Ar-Rahim, Ar-Ra'uf, and so on, for anybody else, the Quran says you're mushrik. Now he doesn't have a verse for that.
I just did.
No, you did not. That's just saying shirk. That is not saying if you give one of the names which are not unique to Allah to other than Allah's creation.
Is that shirk?
That is not shirk. I explained that already. The Prophet is called Rahim in the Quran.
Is he called Al-Rahim?
He can be called Ar-Rahim as well in certain contexts.
Muhammad can be called Al-Rahim?
Again, you're jumping off, but you do not have a verse. Show me the verse from the Quran that you said that if you take any of those names and give them to the creation, it is shirk.
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead. Show me the verse. That does not say that. That verse does not say that.
Brother, you asked me a question.
That verse does not say that.
Okay, that's cool and all. Let me.
You did ask him a question. Go ahead.
I appreciate it.
Ooh, it looks. Ooh, gang. Looks like we found something. Looks like we found something in the Quran, chapter 4, verse 48 in Surah An-Nisa. What have we here, gang? Indeed, it says, Allah does not forgive associating others with him, but forgives anything else of whoever he wills. And whoever associates others with Allah has indeed committed a grave sin. Does not forgive it. Unforgivable sin committed by Sheikh Uthman. Chapter 4, verse 48.
So the verse in chapter 4, ladies and gentlemen, says that there's one sin that Allah does not forgive, and that is shirk. For those who do not know what shirk is, like I guess Uthman doesn't, shirk is when you associate a partner with Allah. What does that mean, y'all? That means when you equate someone with Allah, when you give names and titles that are attributed to Allah, uniquely to Allah, to a creature, to anyone other than Allah, in his lordship, in his attributes, in his names, you are associating a partner, which is i.e. shirk. So when he says, hey guys, there's one sin that I will not forgive, that is shirk. When you associate a partner with me, naming someone a creature, attributing them names or qualities or attributes that belong only to Allah, to a creature, is shirk, which takes you out of Islam. Allah won't forgive you, and you did that today. You might as well come to Christ. Now, let me land this too.
Come on.
Okay? I'm getting back to the point.
He's right.
He's even like, oh my God, he's right.
She's
even like, he got you.
He's absolutely right. Got him.
No.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
Can you?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish my thought. So in all of this, like you just said, for example, that Allah being identified as the first and the last, this is something unique to him. No one can be attributed this name and title.
No.
So now, when we go to the Bible, and Jesus identifies himself, he says, I am the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega, specifically first and the last. Can you agree that by Islamic standards, that when Jesus claims to be the first and the last, that he's claiming to be God Almighty?
Are you done?
Yes, no?
No.
Okay.
Please expound.
No. And now I will expand.
Go ahead.
First off, what's the verse in chapter 4?
Thank you, 48.
Oh, you didn't know it, huh? I got you. Indeed,
I'm an English sheikh.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forgive association with him, but he forgives that which is less than that. Now, earlier, what he's caught in the lie of is he says the Quran says that if you take any of the names of Allah and give it to the creation, then that is in the Quran, you're a mushrik. The verse does not state that. He lied.
That's not what I said.
First off, he's interrupting now.
You interrupted me.
No, I did not. I'm going to speak if you don't mind.
Okay, if somebody
Now,
Yeah, come on.
now
Please just keep
that is a lie, right? Secondly, you called me a mushrik without even understanding the wabit of shirk, the wabit of takfir. You're absolutely ignorant of it, and even here you're ignorant of it because there are asma al-husna that are.
What did we not just read? God, Muslims are incredible. Brian, did we not just read that Allah will not forgive that sin? Did we just read that in chapter 4, verse 48? Let me. Indeed, Allah not forgive that partners be associated with him. But for okay, I don't know.
that can be used for the creation, and any book, a beginning book of Aqidah on Asma al-Husna, if you picked up, you would have known that. But there are those that are unique to Allah, and the way it befits Allah is unique to Allah. So for example, Allah has a yad, and if we were to say, oh, you have a yad, that doesn't make me a mushrik. Allah's yad is unique to him. So that does not make me a mushrik. You have a hand, Allah has a hand. Saying that those two exist does not make me a mushrik. You're absolutely ignorant of tashbih. Now, let me finish now.
Yeah? Your time.
Now, when you go to the Alpha and Omega, that is not awwal and akhir.
I say first and the last, not Alpha and Omega. That's what I'm focusing on.
Okay. Let's be mindful.
Again.
Let's be mindful. Let him finish through his thought. You want a pen? You can write down some notes.
That's okay.
So once again, when you take something that is in the Arabic language and you try to associate with something else, for example, Alpha and Omega in the Greek alphabet is the first and last of the alphabet. In other instances, you can say somebody's the first and the last. If I was to say that Michael Jordan is the Alpha and Omega of basketball, he is the first and last of basketball, that is not the same as saying awwal and akhir in the Arabic language.
Basketball.
So for you to say that because of the Arabic awwal and akhir, that means nobody but Jesus could be called God by being called that, is equating apples and oranges. Secondly, I have not made the point of the Bible saying that Alpha and Omega are first and last. My point that he still hasn't addressed, the original points, was the verses in the Bible that clearly shows that Jesus is not God, because he calls out to a God, even post-resurrection.
Okay, so Sheikh Uthman, I need you to, for the sake of this argument, brother, please track what I'm asking you, man. I'm not asking you about in general, with qualifications. I actually made it clear so that you wouldn't waste our time talking about, well, if I said Michael Jordan is the first and the last in basketball, that's a qualification. Whenever you say in this or of that, you're qualifying it. I'm specifically talking about unqualified, which you said only God can be identified unqualified as the
means
first
verified,
and the last.
right?
So yes or no on this so I can bring my point. When Jesus says...
Can I say? You said yes or no, and then you can...
So it's like, because he's trying to tell him, like, I'm speaking in absolute, like, generality. Like, I'm not an absolute, like, not about something, not the first and the last of something, or just period. Okay, I can say if I'm an only child, I'm the first and the last of my parents. That's what he's like that, but that's the qualifier. You qualify first and the last.
You verify you are of something.
Of my parents.
Yeah, so like I would be the last of my family, because since I have a daughter, obviously if she gets married, that's going to be the last of my name.
Right, that'd be the first and the last of your children if you had just one. So that's why he keeps on telling him you can't qualify, because before he tried to say, oh, the first and last of my parents, or I'm the most loving of all my parents. It's like, no, we're not talking about that. So stop doing it. And I really think that he's going to bridge the gap with the Jesus holds these titles. So that means Jesus is God. Real quick, I was listening to Christian Prince, and he kind of had a rebuttal to something, and I can't believe I've never thought about it before. But it's so simple. Like a lot of Muslims try to go to Daniel, the book of Daniel, and say, like, oh, Muhammad is prophesied in the book of Daniel. And then a Muslim said that to Christian Prince, and then Christian Prince asked him, okay, well then if Muhammad is prophesied in the book of Daniel, why can't we find the book of Daniel in the Quran? Why is none of that in the Quran? If he was prophesied about it in our book, how did it fail to make yours?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of like, duh. Like, why did I never think of that? It's like, we don't even have to go to the chapter and verse that they're talking about. It's like, show me in the Quran where that's verified. And they can't do it because it's not in there. And then it's like, once again, you're coming to my book, which you swear is corrupted, to confirm yours. But I was just like, wow, that's a very good point. And you can literally do that with any book of the Old Testament or whatever that they try to go to verify. It's like, okay, please show me that.
Yes, I need a yes or no on this because I'm building my point on this.
You're asking the question.
Yes.
Now.
When Jesus says, I am the first and the last.
And she has got some righteous eyebrows. The work on those things. I mean, just the arch. She's what, you know, that is.
Does he qualify it? Yes or no?
Can you give me the verse?
Revelation chapter 22, verse 13. He says, I need a yes or no on this because I'm building my point on this.
You're asking the question.
Yes. When Jesus says, I am the first and the last, does he qualify it? Yes or no?
Can you give me the verse?
Revelation chapter 22, verse 13. He says, I'll read it for you. He says, I am the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Does he qualify when he says, I am the first and the last?
Revelation 22 what?
Bro.
He just read it to you.
No,
I just quoted it to you, brother.
I'd like to see it from my own Bible.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 13. You go open all of them.
Revelations 22,
Verse 13.
13. Okay. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Does he qualify first and last? Yes or
He
no,
does
please?
not.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So he doesn't qualify.
I have
remember,
with
He's running the line of logic.
But-
These
Yep.
are yes or no's,
Yep.
but that means you got to do yes
Absolutely.
or no's. Okay.
Absolutely. So I asked him for yes or no to build this point, and I'm gonna give it over to you. Okay. So remember, you said when I asked you, can anyone claim to be the first and the last, unqualified, and it's not a claim of being God? Can anyone claim that unqualified? You said no. That belongs to Allah alone, God alone. So Jesus here, as you just admitted, unqualified claims to be the first and the last. So by your own admission, can you admit that even by Islamic standards, Jesus claims to be God?
Absolutely not. I mean, you can laugh track all you want, but that's okay. Now, once again, you're taking something that is in one language and equating with a different language. Whether
What? Oh,
What?
Look at homeboy in the background with the Arizona.
Wait, hold up.
Diamondbacks hat.
It's English. It's an English. It's a.
Do you see how like dizzying it, like, bro?
Like we're not translating Greek to English here. It's standard script.
I gotta run it back. Homeboy is just like, what did he just say? Like, look at the shock on Diamondback's face. That is hilarious. We gotta run this back.
you're saying qualified or not, if equating with a different language. Once again, you're taking something that is in one language and equating with a different. I mean, you can laugh track all.
So by your own admission, can you admit that even by Islamic standards, Jesus claims to be God?
Absolutely not. I mean, you can laugh track all you want, but that's
He's
okay.
even like,
Now,
what?
Once again, you're taking something that is in one language and equating with a different language. Whether you're saying qualified or not, if I tell my wife you're the first and the last, doesn't mean that she's God. That shows my love. That shows my love for her. Absolutely, you're the first and the last. So for me, she is no problem with that. Understanding Greek context, understanding that the clarification here of Alpha and Omega here in the verse that you quoted, that's why I wanted to bring the verse up myself as well, shows that this is not what we would consider awwal and akhir in the Quranic context. For example, let me finish. If you're trying to take something from an Islamic concept and try to prove the Bible by it, that's just not going to work. In Islam, for example, if you say God has a son, that by itself would be rejected. In the Bible, obviously that's used all the time. And if in Islam somebody says, for example, God, like you were talking about, God came in the form of a man, that would be shirk by in itself. So you cannot take awwal and akhir from the Quranic aspect and try to put it with the biblical aspect. The Bible has many things that would not work with that concept to begin with. For example, many gods being referenced. For example, gods being judges. For example, many people being sons of God. None of that would work. So if you were to show me in Islamic context awwal and akhir, that's different. But seeing the first and the last in a biblical context is not the same. So those two do not match. And my answer is clear to you now.
No, it's not. So watch this.
Not at all.
When you said that the first and the last, the first and the last in Islam, in the Quran, is different from the first and the last in the Bible, because that's why. Can you tell me?
I did not say that.
Okay.
I did not. He's
Listen,
putting words in my mouth.
Uthman, I'm gonna give you a chance, brother. You got all the time in the world. Can you tell us very intricately, with verses and references, what is the difference when Allah claims to be the first and the last in the Quran and when Jesus claims to be the first and the last in the Bible? What's the difference?
Absolutely. first thing, I didn't say just why, so don't put words in my mouth. Thank you so much. Stay out of my mouth. Now, secondly, we're talking about two absolutely different languages.
What's the difference?
With two, please don't interrupt me.
He's getting there. Let him
So we're talking about two absolutely different languages that use language differently. So you cannot take something from one language and bring it into another language. For example, the word son. As you have seen in the Bible, it has been used for other than even Jesus, right? Sons of God. That could never work in the Quran. So if I was to say, hey, because in Islam, Allah has no son. Son is not used.
So it means the same thing.
So basically what he's saying is, in the Quran, if Allah was referenced to Father, Father could never be referenced again to anybody.
Well, yeah, well, Allah can't be referenced as a father.
No, but what?
But yeah, the concept, the idea, yeah. So if he has a title, no,
Yeah, which is absolutely stupid because in the Bible it references, Abraham's sons. It represents who was it? I think it was Joshua. I may be wrong. Or no, Jacob. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics that Muslims have to play to defend their religion is incredible. And
well, not just that, it's the way they twist it to fit their narrative.
Well, they lie.
Yeah.
They're just blatant lies. For some of them, it's tough because depending on, the country that they live in, I mean, leaving Islam could cost them, their family could just completely reject them. Some of them could even be killed. So it's not easy for a lot of them to hear this and to accept it. But we got to keep pressing forward. And GodLogic has brought a lot of Muslims to Christ. I know Christian Prince has brought a lot of Muslims to Christ, which is why I definitely think he's moving through their ministry. I think GodLogic kind of fell into the grifter trap for a second. He kind of dipped his toe into the pool, and it kind of cost him his privacy. But I think he's taking it the right way, pushing on, not responding to any of the attacks. Just okay, let me just get back to focusing on ministry. So it's good. But dude, the more you see these debates and the more you hear the arguments from them, it's insane. But yeah, we got to pray for them, is because a lot of them want to leave. They don't want to be in it, especially a lot of the younger ones that can critically think. And, but it's tough. Like a lot of people will call in to Christian Prince from Pakistan, from Iran, from Egypt. And, they'll tell him it's tough. Like, I'm afraid my mom will turn, my mom, my dad, my brothers, like everyone will turn their backs on me if I do this, but I know this religion is false. So as much as we want to, make fun of the foolishness, we got to know that there are some out there that know better. But the mental gymnastics that this man is playing is Olympic worthy.
I'm doing my bad.
It does not mean the same thing because here, obviously, for other than even Jesus, right? Sons of God. That could never work in the Quran. So if I was to say, hey, because in Islam, Allah has no son. Son is not used.
So it means the same thing.
Can I?
Sorry, I'm doing my bad.
It does not mean the same thing because here, obviously, because you are using an Islamic context into the Bible. Just like the Bible's language would not work in the Quran, you cannot take the Arabic of the Quran and try to bring it in the Bible. Those are two different things. In Hebrew, in Greek, certain terms are used in certain ways for other than God, other than even the pious people and so on, that would not be in Islam. So when in the Quran, it says Allah has no sons. If you were to say, if you bring that in the Bible, would that mean that these are not sons? Well, as you know, in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament, son is used as a term of endearment. That's why they're sons of God, whether they're angels or pious. That would not work in the Arabic language, but it did in Hebrew and in Greek and so on. So I do not say that the awwal and akhir of the Quran can be used in the Bible. They're two different languages.
The angels were never
that
called
do
sons
not-
of God. They're
I
servants.
just- okay,
That's
so
why I
that
was
is not
sitting
just
there, I
why.
was just
okay,
thinking
but
that. Like,
yes,
what
it
the
is. It's because that's why. What you look with mine? I'm
Those are the
gonna break
servants
down
of
what you
God.
just did. You just said it's different
Yeah, he's
languages.
gonna pick it up right here.
That's why it's different. That's
once
not.
again-
It's
hold on,
different
hold on,
languages.
hold on,
That's why it's
hold on,
different.
hold
I'm
on.
gonna let you speak.
Yeah, thank you. I let you get it all out. So I'm about to break this down to you in very, very simple terms. I'm gonna give you examples, since you love to use examples. Allah says He does not beget, or is begotten. When He says He does not beget, but when Jesus says that God for God so loved the world that He sent His only begotten Son, or in Hebrews chapter 1 where it says about Jesus, today I've become a father to you. Today I have begotten you. Let me just ask you, yes or no, because I'm building my point. When it says today I have begotten you, can that language be used in the Quran? Yes or no?
That's an easy yes or no.
No problem, but I'm going to clarify that, right?
No, it's a yes or no.
Can it or can it not?
It cannot.
Thank you.
He's got a little stop sign.
No, I cannot because I can't
all I
clarify your
needed.
point.
Hold on.
No,
He's
no.
finishing the
Again,
line
yes.
of logic.
Now-
Let
yes.
him finish it.
Uthman
Yes.
concedes
It's a line-
that
it's a line of-
Uthman concedes that even biblical concepts written in Hebrew and Greek can cross over to his Arabic Quran, undermining his entire response.
These are how line of logics work.
Let's
It's a
run
yes
it
or
back.
no.
Let's run it
I
back.
see. That's an easy yes or no.
No problem.
Today I've become a father to you. Today I have begotten you. Let me just ask you, yes or no, because I'm building my point. When it says today I have begotten you, can that language be used in the Quran? Yes or no?
That's an easy yes or no.
No problem, but I'm going to clarify that, right?
Watch
No, it's a yes or
No,
no.
Can it or can it not?
It cannot.
Thank you.
And I
That's
will,
it.
no,
That's
no,
all
I
I
will,
needed.
no, no, I cannot
That's
told you can't
all I
clarify your
needed.
point.
Hold on.
No,
He's
no.
finishing the
Again,
line
yes.
of logic.
Now,
Let
yes.
him finish it.
Yes.
It's a line.
It's a line of logic.
These are how line of logics work. It's a yes or no. I see. I understand it. I know what he's doing right now in
Yes.
terms of trying to get there.
You see, even the Ahmad gets it. All right, so that language cannot be used in the Quran. But wait, I thought it's different. It's a different language. So what about begotten in the Arabic? Wouldn't that work? But no, he rejects it. He rejects all these terms. He rejects sonship in any sense. He rejects being begotten in any way, shape, or form. He rejects these
Being
terms.
the
It doesn't matter
father.
what language you use. If I say in Spanish that Allah is begotten, guess what? I'm a mushrik. I'm a disbeliever, right? So according to you, when you say, oh, the language is different, so therefore it doesn't mean the same, according to what? When I say Allah and I say Dios, do that mean the same thing?
And let's
It
do
does
this.
not.
And let's
No,
do
no,
this.
no, no,
I'm
no.
going to let you do your response, and then we're going to maneuver into some final statements. So then we'll go to you and then you. But yeah, I want you to have one more
Absolutely.
response to that, and then you build your final into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If you were to say Allah and Dios, it would not be the same thing. Even though sometimes the word Dios is used for translation, even the word God does not befit Allah, because God has gender. For example, goddess, and Allah
What?
is unique to that. And I'm gonna
But they'll say, what? Even God doesn't, the word God doesn't befit Allah, but they will sit there and tell you that Allah means God. Like, did you catch that? Am I alone?
That's confusing as just all get out, bro.
What? I mean, we're almost done here. There's only 5 minutes left in this debate. But what?
speak now.
I haven't interrupted. I have not interrupted.
Now, once again, so the childish attitude here is pathetic, where you would say that just because one word has the same meaning in another language, does that mean every word in that language has the same meaning? Absolutely not. So, for example, when you talk about sons of God in the Bible, there are references where it's not for the begotten. And that is something that, according to Christians and Jews, whether you go to Rashi or others, is a reference to just people for piety or angels, not literal
Angels are
sons. So here, that son would be different in use than begotten son. Here you could say that these were pious people that were close. For example, even in the Arabic language, walad is used for endearment. For example, if I was to say, walad, come speak to me, in endearment, that is used. And that would mean that you are wrong. Your equation is wrong.
Sorry, what does walad
now,
mean
can
again?
I
Just for
finish? Can I finish?
I'm just asking for
Huh?
clarification. What does wallet mean?
Walad means son.
Oh.
Yeah. and it's a term of endearment.
I got you.
Not of necessarily a physical relation. So even if I told you, ya walad ta'al, oh child, come here, my son, I don't mean that I literally had intercourse with your mother. What I mean is a term of endearment. In that sense, yes, you could use it. But in the sense of actual physical children of God, that would not work. So equating one aspect of one language to another is childish. It's a trick. Now, if we go to the word Dios or God, those words are only represented when somebody doesn't understand the concept of Allah, because the word God does not equate to Allah. God can be used for other than Allah, while the word Allah is unique to Allah. God has gender where it could be goddess. So your Dios example is also wrong. And in the end, should I finish or should I let him?
We'll let him do a final and then,
Go ahead.
So build it into your final, because I know you have a response to that.
Yeah.
Take your time with it. I know, I see where you're going. I know what you want to do. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Sheikh, you completely undermined your entire rebuttal.
Yes.
When you just admitted that son of endearment, or walid in Arabic, the word for son in English, can be used, I guess, as a term of endearment. It can still work in the Arabic because it means that in a particular context. That's how it defines. So what you just showed me is that words, even in different languages, can still work in the Quran, in the Bible, in other different whatever walk you're coming from. So when you say and by the way, this will be it's also interesting. Anybody can look this up. Look up Revelation 22:13 in an Arabic Bible. Look up Revelation chapter 1 verse 17 in an Arabic Bible. It says the same thing, the same name, the same titles that is said in the Quran. And so when you look this up, his whole excuse of, well, the languages are different, doesn't even work. We were just having fun with that. So by your own admission, let me just work this off to my closing. By your own admission, the unqualified titles of Allah cannot be applied to anyone else. When it's unqualified for Allah, like the first and the last, only God can have those titles. These are your words, not mine. I agree with you, though. And so when Jesus says, I am the first and the last, unqualified, that demonstrates, even by your own standards, that Jesus is claiming to be God Almighty. And what you did is when you saw the problem, you still said no. You said no, because you couldn't admit that even in the Bible, Jesus claims to be God, and your prompt is over.
Once again,
and your final statement,
the concept that you brought of son also clearly indicates that languages do not go over equation. This is why I said son as the sense of begotten would not work with the Arabic language, but son in the sense of endearment would. So that means first and last has to be understood in the same manner. When you say first and last in a different language, it works different than awwal and akhir in the Arabic language. Even in that context, you were wrong. Secondly, when you said the Arabic Bible, the childish thing here is the fact that the Bible wasn't written in Arabic. It was written in Koine Greek. So all your actual understanding of the words have to come from Koine Greek, not from Arabic. Those are translations, and they wildly vary because the Arabic Quran is the original language of the Quran, not of the Bible. So Quranic Arabic cannot be understood to understand biblical theological concepts. That would be in Greek, and you know that, but you brought that up to show your ignorance. Last thing I will say on this, you did not address any of the points from the prompt, that all the verses that I had mentioned, he didn't address any of them. He just ran on this first and the last point, which that's why I brought up the verse itself, because Alpha and Omega, the qualifiers that are used in there are used for other than God. First and last are used, yes, in the Greek language. Alpha and Omega can be used for other than God. You can Google that.
Show the verse. I'm sorry. Show the verse.
Shake hands, gentlemen. This was beautiful. I love it.
See, and that's also why
is your religion
trustworthy?
Those
like formal debates, it's like nothing is really accomplished, because this guy, Uthman, was not forced at any point to really address the things that GodLogic was saying. He just gets like 5 minutes or a couple of minutes to just spew nonsense, lie, misrepresent what you say, or just give out just the wrong information. And in a normal conversation where you'd be able to be like, well, stop right there. Like, you're wrong 10 words in. You got to let them get all this crap out, and then in some structure try and debunk it. And I think GodLogic did a good job of that.
Yeah, it's almost like taking 5 steps forward and 1 step back because he's got to catch up to what he's saying and rebuttal him.
Yeah.
But there's so much to rebuttal.
Right. It's, even in the end where he said that other things are referred to as Alpha and Omega in the Bible, just total lie. Just an absolute lie. That's why I was like, show me the verse. Show me one verse in the Bible where that is the case. And of course, it's just not. There's not one. There's not one. So, but yeah, I'm sure they, a lot of, he's got his views on that. What'd you think of that debate, Brian?
That was interesting, man. I mean, it just shows you that no matter what, not even a Christian, just someone that knows the Bible can really inform someone who's misinformed. And no matter how much you actually prove to them how wrong they are, they'll just always turn it down because they believe that their belief system is right and that they're never wrong.
Right. And that was GodLogic. He usually focuses on maybe 2 to 3 topics. One is the Islamic dilemma. The Quran is supposed to be confirming our Bible, and 2, is Jesus God in accordance to like Islam. They're real easy arguments to really get down and focus on. You don't have to know like the Quran like back and forth to really get to it. And like if you notice, he really starts like winning and like really starts giving it to him when he starts going to the Quran and quoting verses from the Quran. That's when the guy really, he had him on the ropes, if you noticed. But when you just let them just tell their lies on the Bible, it's like then you're sitting there defending the Bible rather than debunking their nonsense. When he used one verse in the Quran just to show, it's like, bro, you are committing an unforgivable sin in accordance to your religion, and you're essentially supposed to be like what a pastor would be in Christianity. He's a sheikh. He's like a Muslim pastor. And it's, that was that was tough to listen to. That was getting through that with some of them is tough. But GodLogic did his thing. Another flawless victory. Of course, the Muslims will all sit there and say Uthman won. I don't know how. But a lot of Muslims were very upset with Uthman for doing that. And it's funny. They're upset with him because they're all starting to realize that GodLogic is like almost like their final boss, like of the game, and no one can beat him. Everyone ends up looking foolish when they debate him, and he just gets more popular. So he boycotted, like one of the guys that was talking about his wife and putting up her old pictures and stuff like that. Like he boycotted debating that Muslim, which kind of like I was kind of like okay, like I see little. Like to me, that was just like, all right, I'm no longer going to like blow up your platform by debating you because you keep talking about my wife. And that's when I started to see the slippery slope. And that's where I started to see, I'm like, okay, this looks like it's starting to become a business. This is starting to become like WWE. Like we're pulling punches. We're not really hurting each other, but it looks like, do you get the analogy?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that these mainstream apologetics reverse course with the grift. But yeah, man, very interesting to watch. Looking forward to future, I guess, debates and really kind of getting into it more. So, but that was kind of a big thing, and it was all over my Twitter feed, my X feed. So I wanted to take a look at it. I think he slimmed it down. It should have been much longer than that. Like there were no opening statements, anything like that. I think he just went right to the crossfire, which is good because I didn't want to hear the Muslim guy just lying for 3 minutes and then GodLogic having to respond to it. So very good, man. That was good. You learned a little bit about Islam and kind of how to navigate that, about shirk and an easy way to refute that, with Jesus being God in accordance to Islamic standards. Very interesting stuff. We'll get back more into the breaking it down. I like how we got to go to Revelations real quick to prove that. But yeah, man. It's just been a lot going on. Sorry, guys, for the lack of consistency. But things are finally starting to calm down, and I'll be able to start doing this a little more. But I like these kind of quick little runs too, a little hour long.
So really quick, excuse me. I know there's been a couple times when we've, I guess, reported the amount of Christians that have been killed, and last 30 days there have been 88 attacks in 24 countries, killing 461 people and injuring 375. These attacks include Nigeria, Sudan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kenya, Syria, and others. So many Christians out there. Just keep continuing to pray for those people out there that are being persecuted.
Yep, absolutely. Continue to keep them in your prayers. And this is also why we're doing this, because it's not, Jehovah's Witnesses killing Christians. It's not the Buddhist, by and large. It's not the Hindus, by and large. The attacks are predominantly from perpetrators of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an absolute demonic and idiotic religion that we've allowed it to fester too long, primarily because of the lies they tell, being that they're like our religious cousins. But if that were the case, and if Islam is Abraham, like, you know where I'm going. So, learn the arguments, gang. Follow GodLogic, follow Christian, subscribe to Christian Prince, primarily Christian Prince, if you really want to learn how to really get at these guys, learn a little Arabic. He actually teaches Arabic. I'm actually going to start watching his YouTube that he did that teach you Arabic. I'm really going to commit to that and see where I'm at, in a year or two, because this fight is going to reach our doorstep. I mean, the Islamic Center of Orange County is 10 minutes away from me. Okay. So, and I used to live literally around the corner from it. Like every Friday, I'd see hundreds of Muslims going to that mosque to pray. So you got to be ready. You want to be able to at least refute it simply, and teach your children when they get older how to do it, so that, we don't fall victim to it, or they don't fall victim to the lies and end up, falling for this madness. But all right, guys, we can call it there. Brian, you got anything you wanna top it off with?
I'm good.
Okay, yep. This was a good stream. W stream. Thank you, Mikey, of course, for coming through. It's a shorter one, so should be a little easier to watch than like my 3-hour ones. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Love you. May God be with each and every one of you. May he bless you, keep his angels camped round about you, and protect you all the days of your life. May be covered in the blood of Jesus. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, because as Christian Prince says, we are the new crusade. Well, we are the crusade. All right? Believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, people. You will be saved, and we'll see you next time. All righty, man.